In this US30 video, I'm going to show my simple trading plan, including my full analysis, entries, profit targets, no matter if the market goes up or down, especially because this past week we did see all-time highs. So make sure you watch until the end because no one is sharing information like this on YouTube. And then also thank you all for the love. This person made some money. This person really loves the channel and they're becoming profitable or on their path to profitability. This person is looking forward to the analysis. This person loves how everything is so simple. So stick around because it's going to be awesome. So let's jump into US30. As always, let's go ahead and start on the weekly time frame. And let's go ahead and get rid of all of these drawings. So as we see from this past week, price, let me get my arrow, price did make a new high inside of the market. And if you looked at last week's video, then you know that I did anticipate the market to make new highs, but we really didn't know where it was going to go. Now that we have that data, now we can mark up our charts. So let's go ahead. Actually, let me go ahead and zoom in to this a little bit. Let me hide the sessions indicator. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start off by marking off a level at 20, around, not 20, around 40,000, 29, 30. And this was the previous or one of the previous highs inside of the market. So I definitely want to mark that off. And then I'm actually going to mark off a level at the wick of the new high. Basically, I'm doing that because as we go down to lower time frames, we will see actual candles start to form there. So next, what I'm going to do is take this level and I'm going to mark it off around 38,430-ish level, mainly because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different candles touching this level. We also have some touches within here. And if we just wanted to drag it over, then we can see that this was also a nice support level way back months ago. So we have this candle breaking up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 candles rejecting this level. So it's definitely going to be a strong level. And one other level that I do want to mark off here on the weekly time frame is the 37,800 and let's just say 50-ish level, just taking an average, mainly because we have nice supports throughout here. So this is all I want to mark off on the weekly. Let's go down to the daily time frame and let's reset our views. And then I'm going to zoom in so that way we can see more of this price action. All right, cool. So as you can see here on the weekly time frame, we do have price pretty much forming some candles here. We do see a nice resistance here, but for right now, we're going to leave it alone. I'm looking at this level, it still looks great. We have a nice resistance level here. And then on this level, this actually does look good. I may want to make some adjustments on lower time frames, but still look good. This bottom level for sure, I do want to move it down to around 37,600 and let's just say 60, mainly because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections here. And then these two candles almost touching this level. So that tells me that this is a really strong level. So this is all I want to mark up on the the daily. So let's go to 4H time frame. And then once again, now we have to scoot it in a lot more, mainly because we have a lot more data here. And I am going to, yep. Okay, great. So looking at these levels, I know it's a bit of an eye chart, but we will zoom into areas that we need to pay more attention to. So right here, this was the highest high inside of the market. Still looks good to me. I want to keep it like that for now. And then if we zoom into this next level right here, we can get a sense of what's happening with the price action. So one thing I do want to move, actually I'm trying to, how do I want to move it? Okay, so let me see if I move it up to 40,060. It's between 40,060 and 40,000, like 45, 46. So let's just say 40,050. So that is looking good to me. So right now I'm going to keep it there, mainly because we have a really strong rejection level here. If we look at recent price action, we do have a bit of consolidation. So when we go down to lower time frames, we will see what it actually looks like. And everything to the left is looking good. And then let me move this in a bit. Okay, so I do see some minor levels here based on the H4 time frame. We do have a lot of consolidation within the zone, so I do want to mark this off. So let me go ahead and get my box tool. And one of the main levels that I see right here, actually we're getting started over here at 39,000, roughly 600. So if we draw a box here, we can see that it lines up perfectly with this support. We have a rejection, and then we also have a rejection here. This broke up above and then continued to push up. So that's actually a really nice level that I want to keep marked off on my chart. So let's go ahead and clone this. And then another level that I'm kind of seeing, it's a little tricky, but let's place it right here at 39,000, almost 39,000 flat. So the fact that this is close to a psychological number like 39,000 flat lets me know that this level placement is good. Okay, cool. So I'm liking this level. I think that's all I want to mark off right there. And then we go to a level that we have drawn before. Let's see. It looks good. I'm looking at this area and trying to decide whether or not I want to move it, but it looks good. We do have a few rejections here. We have a break and then it comes back up and then pushes all the way up. So I think that's fine for now. One other thing that I'm looking at is down here. I think I also want to keep that mainly because it's got a lot of rejections there. So still looks good to me. One level I do see that I do want to mark off. So right here around 38,075, let's say, I do want to mark off this level. And I'm going to drag it out a little bit because if price comes back to this zone, let's move it over. If price comes back to this zone, then I definitely want to see if price is going to bounce off of this level. We're going to get into that a lot more when I break down my analysis for the week. But for right now, let's just mark it off. Okay, still looking good. All right, cool. So let's go down to H2 level. And of course, when we move down, we're going to have a lot more data. So we definitely need to scoot in a lot more. And basically, all I'm going to do is just look at the levels that I've drawn before and see if it still looks good. So this was that all-time high zone. Still looks good for the most part. Let me see if there's something else I want to draw or make an adjustment to. I'm actually looking at this zone, and I think I do want to add a level, but let me look at the other levels first. So this looks great, 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 great. Let me see. Let's zoom into this level and see if we need to refine it a bit. No, that still looks good. I will make the zone a little bit slimmer, just so that way the top of my box is touching the support level. We still got all the rejections. It still looks good. Okay, and then I was scooting over to this zone right here. And it still looks fine. Actually, I do want to push this down just a little bit for the same reason as before. We got a support, we got a whole bunch of rejections. So I just shifted it a little bit to be around 37,650. So that's looking good. So I'm going to actually zoom out and come back to this top level where we have the all-time high. So there were a couple things that I was looking at here. I did see a nice support here and then a push up. So this is actually a level I do want to mark off on the H2 time frame. So this is around 40,800 and let's say 50. So that's looking good to me, mainly because came up, it did a break, basically a retest, and then it came up here. So I definitely want to mark that off. And the rest of this looks good. Let's go to H1. All right. So this level that I just drew, I do want to adjust this, just shift it down a little bit to be at 40,000, let's say 800. So that's looking good. This, I still want to keep it up here, even though there's just one wick. This is literally the highest point that price has gone inside of this market so far. So I want to keep that marked off. But I do want to mark off this level right here around 40, what is this? 40,300 and let's say 20, mainly because we have a resistance here, came down, came back up to roughly the same level and sold off here on the H1 time frame. So I do want to keep that marked off. So now that we have all of our levels, so let's go ahead and come up with a game plan. So right now what I'm looking at is I see price, let me get I'm going to use lines here. So I see price pretty much formed a resistance level right here, and then I also see that price formed a support level right here. So basically, and then if I look left, it pretty much formed that same resistance level right through here. You don't need to extend it out that far. I'm not, because I want to keep everything clean. But basically we have, a little consolidation within here. We can see a lot of doji candles, which means that buyers and sellers are in a fight and basically they're landing at the same point. So I don't want to, I want to mark that off so that way I can make sure that when I'm looking at the live market, depending on how things go, that basically my plan would be if price continues to, actually let me use this, if price continues to move up above here, I may want to make this level, this 40,600 and let's say 25 be my first target point. So I'm going to mark that off right about here. So this could be like my first target point, mainly because right here, we see all bearish candles right here. And if you have been looking at charts for any amount of time, you do realize that price likes to balance itself out, not 100%, but basically if you see a lot of selling, then generally on the other side, after a consolidation like this, there's going to be a lot of buying. So this would be the level that I would be comfortable buying it up to. But of course, price could do whatever it wants. It could continue to push up and go all the way up to this 40,800 level. This is actually a perfect level. So it could continue to do that. So that would be that side of it. And then we could also see continued buys all the way up here to 41,300 and let's say 20 to this level that we drew before. That's a lot of points. Each one of these moves are a lot of points. And let's just say hypothetically, I see a little resistance level right here. I actually would not be interested in trading. I'm extended out here. I would not be interested in trading in this zone right here, mainly because it's a little zone and it's a little consolidation zone. So I would want to wait, at least for me in the way that I trade, wait until price gets to this 40,800 level and then start buying up. So, but you obviously do whatever you want. This is just how I see the market. So on the downside here, the one thing that I see is I do see a range here for a counter trend trade, and this is actually a nice little move. But however, since this market is moving up quite a bit, I don't want to necessarily take a counter trend trade. So I wouldn't actually be interested in a counter trend trade. Let me move this. At least for me in the way that I trade until, let me move this out a little bit. Oh, didn't want to do that. Okay, cool. So I actually wouldn't be interested in taking a counter trend trade until we hit 40,000, roughly 50, 60. And then let me explain something that you should be looking out for. So pretty much from here to about here, just know that price could stop sooner and reverse. So it, like right here at 40,775, it could stop, or it could stop right here. But I think this would probably be more likely, especially because we have a lot of rejections and a lot of doji candles within here. So like really low momentum candles, that was probably during Asian session. Oh, that was some of London as well. But anyway, so that's one thing. So one thing I would pay attention to is this really big wick off to the left hand side, because the fact that price came below this level, it looked like in real time it was going to sell off, but it didn't. It continued to push back up, especially once it got back above this 40,050-ish level and then continued to buy up. So I would probably not want to sell right when price gets below here, but probably below 39,900 and let's just say 70 once it clears this wick to the left, just because it would make me feel a lot more comfortable with selling off at that time. So that is the game plan there. And if you haven't downloaded the 54 tips to eliminate fear and take profitable day trades, go ahead and download that, mainly because people have said some amazing things about the things that they've learned inside of this. And they have found it very useful. It's actually been one of my most popular downloads to date, with almost 100 downloads just in the past 6 days. So go ahead, check this out, and it's going to help you transform your trading. I'll see you next time.